Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, I'm a little bit late getting to my video again. Took my guest to a place called Zooave this morning. Now, even though the name has zoo in it, this is a rescue sanctuary and we saw some really cool animals and birds and various things. And I'm gonna try to work some little clips into a video, or maybe I'll do a little video on these two little excursions, but lots of fun, but I'm running a little late today. So wanted to talk about guilt, binges, and failure on the raw vegan lifestyle. I say failure because mainly when I say that, it's just because it's failure because of the way people perceive it, and it's failure because people are taking this all or nothing approach. Talk about it all the time. That's just human nature. People like all or nothing. People like black and white. And because they think like this, they mess themselves up in their heads, quite honestly. You know, once again, like I always harp on, a lot of this raw vegan thing and a lot of the raw vegan stress, struggle, and anxiety that people deal with is simply from this obsession to be raw vegan, to be fully raw vegan, to be a 100% member of the club. And that's okay to strive to be fully raw vegan. If you're striving to be fully raw vegan, that's fine. If you're not striving to be fully raw vegan, that's fine. But it's just, you know, don't put, as I always say over and over and over, don't focus more on that label of more of eating raw than on health. Because I'm gonna tell you something, whether the raw folks like to hear this or not, I see a lot of people out there that don't even sweat eating cooked food. They just add and eat cooked food all the time that are much healthier than a lot of the raw people, because the raw people either just can't be raw, they're not ready to be raw, they're using the wrong methods or whatever, but they're always flailing around and they're never really solid on their program. So there's cooked food eaters that are in way better shape, way healthier, way brighter, way more vibrant. So don't, like I say, not discouraging fully raw vegan. I'm just saying don't always make that the end all be all. Now, as far as binges and guilt goes, guilt is one of the most useless emotions out there. Guilt leaves you just kind of bogged down in the past. Guilt to me is kind of just rehashing, you know, something you've done, some action of yours, some feeling of yours that really has no benefit. In fact, nothing that I can see. I can't see any positive benefit to, you know, hanging on to guilt. Binges. Here's why I included and talked about binges, because here's what normally happens with the average person trying to be fully raw vegan that has that all or nothing mentality. They're gung-ho, you know, they're with the cleanest of the clean, they're juicing and they're not taking in too much fat, and they're doing this and they're pristine and they're only eating this, and they're asking people, well, why are you eating this, and blah, 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 and the pressure all builds up for a number of reasons. Sometimes people doing it in climates where they're just not getting quality fruit. They're not even getting decent fruit, which you know, I don't know how to think outside of my box, but I don't know how I would do a high raw, fully raw lifestyle if I was, you know, just surviving on kind of subpar bananas and stuff. But you know, so what mostly happens is people just spin kind of out of control. Once they have that, you know, they keep going, they're doing very well, they're doing the best of the best, they're counting their days, you know, I'm 18 days raw, I'm this day's raw. And some of them you can see them, and you can almost predict when they're gonna come unwound. You see them just getting tighter and tighter, you know, wound, like they're not it's not as easy. For any number of reasons, like I say, I'm not getting into the reasons. But then, okay, here's the point of the story. They fall off their program, they eat something, and a lot of times when they fail, when they fall off their program, when they beat themselves up so much, they haven't really failed that much. That's why I said failure. It's not really a failure, it's just how you're looking at it. There's never really a failure on this lifestyle if you just grasp it and don't like hold on to it and dwell on it and just kind of keep you know, oh my God, I did this. Oh my God, I did this. Instead of wallowing in your misery, instead of, you know, oh, I did this, you do that. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about in that video where I was talking about meditation practice, letting things go. And you know, I get questions all the time, and sometimes like whether it's, you know, on social media or whether it's comments here, and I don't ever want to appear flip or I don't want to appear sarcastic, but sometimes like I just answer a question real shortly like that because it's just as simple as it is. You know, I have people that'll write me or sometimes email some long teary thing about how they did this and this and this and this and they fell off and they binged and blah, 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 blah. And what do I do? And my advice is very simple. It's no sage advice. It's nothing that you know you need to write down. Just stop and get right back on your program. Here's what you do. Like I say, it's basically like a very similar to a meditation idea technique that I've had popping up recently is when something comes up, an unpleasant thought, or when you're just not trying to have thoughts or a bad emotion or whatever. I don't like emotion, you know. Well, I won't say I don't like emotion, but a lot of times we do not make good decisions. We do not act well with emotion. What you need to do in these circumstances is need to get rid of that emotion. You need to examine, okay, you were doing raw, you were doing fully raw, you were doing great, whatever your version of doing great, or maybe you were just high raw doing great, but you fell off your program. You ate something that you have deemed that you shouldn't be eating. So now you're about, you know, now you could go one or two ways. You could fall into that whole guilt thing and be like, oh my God, and then have this mentality, okay, now I've eaten something bad. I might as well just eat a bunch of bad stuff, wallow in it, and somehow that's going to solve things. And I don't know, I can have a pity party with all my friends and my groups that are going to tell me it's okay. No, what you will do is you take your behavior. You were on this program, you had your behavior, you ate whatever you ate. You need to leave the emotion out of it. You need to acknowledge that, maybe examine it, acknowledge it, examine it, see what the trigger was, see what, you know, maybe examine without any emotion why you ate this, what triggered you to eat this, what led you to eat this, maybe what you were feeling at the time, what the situation was. Non-judgmental, you acknowledge it, you look at it, non-judgmental, and then you mentally let it go. It's like I was talking about a meditation the other day when it's like, you know, you have all that, you know, you're sitting and you're trying to, you know, you're focusing on your breath. You're not wanting stray thoughts to come in, but you're not trying to repress those stray thoughts. When those stray thoughts come in, it's almost like just imagine a river flowing in front of you. Here comes a stray thought. You see it, it's there. You're not attached to it. You don't get attached to it, and it's gone, and you just let it go. And it's as simple as that on this raw vegan lifestyle. You know, I just keep harping over and over. I'm kind of like a one-trick pony. I have a few little things that I teach, or I try to share, teach, whatever you want to call it. And that is it. Just do not worry about this. The fully raw thing will happen. If you're working towards it, it will happen. You know, behind the scenes, I talk to people all the time through Messenger and stuff that, you know, they just kind of, and the majority did not go fully raw vegan right off the bat. Once again, there's always the little kid in the class, I did. Some people do. And then some people remember their stories a little bit differently, and they don't exactly remember the details to them. They like, oh yeah, I went fully raw vegan. They went fully raw vegan the last time they decided to try this lifestyle, but even when I follow some backstories, it's like, yeah, but you've dabbled with fully raw in the past, so you didn't technically go directly there. So anyhow, all boils down to that. Focus on your health. Make this a journey. Don't be in such a hurry to get to a particular place. Enjoy every step along the way. Take a lesson out of every step along the way. Even if you're still eating cooked food on a regular basis, there's a lesson to be taken from that. Maybe you don't ever become fully raw, but like I say, I like to advocate the message of raw. I believe raw is great. I love raw living foods. You know, I can't be happy, especially these days. Tons of fruit. I've got a friend to share them with. I mean, I know interest. Now, I can't even think of anything cooked you could put in front of me right now that I would have interest in, but people get to that in their own time, or they don't get to that in their own time. But that the raw versus cooked is just not the end all be all of everything. But if you want to be fully raw, plan it out. Plan it out, and you know what? You'll get there before you'll get there. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Just rambling a little bit. I'm tired, like that. The whole being up a little bit early and out and walking around in the heat. I'm ready for a green smoothie. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll hit that subscribe button. When you hit that subscribe button, click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll say subscribe to the channel. And it's hump day. Hope halfway through the week. See you guys. Peace.